very, very much Dr. Margaret Flowers. She was worth waiting for. Now, for our last speaker, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Fergie Reed. And Dr. Reed is going to, again, talk to you about some of the things that we can do. Dr. Reed, as one of the co-founders of the Crusade of Voters in Richmond, definitely knows about working with people to take action to achieve really great change. So Dr. Fergie Reed.
Thank you very much. It's pretty difficult to follow this panel, knowing that many of you have been here a long time. So I'm going to speak pretty quickly. But first I want to let you know that in full disclosure, Bobby Scott's father was an instructor in surgery when I was in medical school, and his father was one of my teachers. Later when I came here, we collaborated on several cases, and Bobby's always been one of the family. But that does not mean I don't criticize Father. That's right. Andrea, you said something about a fortune cookie. What was in that fortune cookie?
The will of the people is the best law.
Well, I didn't put it there, but it sounds pretty good to me. What I want to remind you is that we are a democracy. Too often we forget that the power comes from us. We come to meetings like this. We come to meetings like this and we hear people talk and we leave and no one tells you how we can correct the problem. So because the power comes from us, we have to constantly remind our elected officials that we are the boss. They are there to represent us. They're not there to represent the lobbyists. They're not there to interest the special interest groups. One of the things that I heard Joe Lieberman said, he said that I don't care what the people want, I'm going to make my own judgment myself. And you can see the reaction that the people gave him in the Democratic primary when he was defeated. Unfortunately, many of the people who were sponsoring him were the same companies that we are fighting now, and he did win the general election. But this is the attitude that so many of the elected officials have. Baucus, single payers off the table. Baucus, arrest those people, send them to jail. Now, how is that for a person who's supposed to be representing us? Certainly he's not representing me, I'm sure he's not representing you. If you look at the political process, there are usually three areas that we have to be concerned with. The president, he has to sign any legislation that comes from Congress. We thought that we had elected a president that was going to follow our direction. But even if he did, he would not be able to get any legislation passed. Then there's the Senate. The Senate is elected every 6 years. So once they get in, they're able to make their position pretty secure. So they're stronger than the president, but the weakest link in the whole chain is the congressman. The congressman is up for election every 2 years. He has to run from a defined district of about 750,000 people, and he is the most vulnerable of them all. So if we're going to get any type of legislation passed, the first thing we have to do is convince 435 congresspersons to be on our side. I know you say that only takes a majority, but it takes more than a majority because so many of them are influenced by money and are bought out by the special interest groups. So because we think that the congressperson is the weakest link, and because politics is a numbers game, and I usually say if you can count to 1 to 10, you can win. But here's what we have in mind, a group of us that started this. We approached several large organizations supporting positions for national health care, healthcare now, Progressive Democratic Party of America, and several other groups to put this plan in motion. Apparently they were not too much impressed, but rather than be defeated, we decided we would try it ourselves. Fortunately, one of the obstacles that I thought would be to get the computer capability to do it. But fortunately, probably was predestined. I ran into a group and Andrea's in it, and she told me that she had the capabilities of handling anything that we wanted to undertake. So here's what we are doing. The 4 or 5 or 6 of us sent out a letter to everybody that we had on our email list. Mainly, we were asking people to call their congressperson, to organize by congressional districts. Once they organized by congressional districts, then they would organize by city or county, or ultimately to get down to the precincts. All of you who signed in today will get an email from us asking you to do one simple thing, to call your senators, call your congressmen, and send out the same letter to all of the people on your email list and ask them to do the same. If we progress by geometric progression, if you do it to 10, they do it to 10, they do it to 10, we should be able to contact the 22 million people who belong to organizations that are supporting H.R. 676. All of these 22 million have 22 million significant others, and that's 44 million. If we exaggerate, that's 44,500,000. So you can see if we break that down by congressional districts, we would have a large enough number identified in each congressional district that we could demand of our representatives that they represent us and no longer have to be dependent on the lobbyists, the big money people, in order to get elected or to guarantee themselves jobs after they leave public office. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Now, I understand that many people may have questions.